Hi friends, today I'm going to discuss about some of the reasons why visas of various foreign students are getting revoked in the US. And this can happen not only to foreign students who are on the F1 visa but also people who are on J1 exchange visitor visa, even on the H1, L1 and the other visas which are made for working in the US. So let us discuss this topic because this is becoming an important topic for various students out there. Now, many students take a huge amount of loan to come and study in the US, and it's very sad if they have to return to their home country without getting any degree. So, if you are a student, if you are a parent, then certainly this video is going to be useful for you. Especially, I will suggest that parents inform their children about these problems and the fact that they should not be involved in any of these issues. So the number one issue which has got a lot of focus has to do with supporting any kind of terrorist activity or organization. Now this is certainly a strict no-no for any foreign student out there. So do not do this. Now the number two activity which has been coming out is that of DUI. That is essentially drinking and driving. And this is something which is treated very seriously in the US. And if you are somebody who is caught drinking and driving, then certainly the cops are going to put a case on you. So make it a point not to drink and drive. It's very hard for young people actually to go around to restaurants to party and all and not drive back. So I will suggest that don't drink at all if possible. And if you are somebody who is prone to drinking, then make it a point that when you are returning back, you essentially hail a ride share company and you take that. So this is very important. Now, the number three point has to do with any kind of traffic violations out there. So these could be driving at speeds which are beyond the speed limit. Now remember, anytime you are driving in a place, there is a speed limit out there. It is generally marked in many places on the road. And so make it a point that you do not exceed this speed limit under any circumstances, because if you get a ticket from a cop, then this also is going to come across negatively for you. Now, in case the cop does stop you, make sure that you are very polite, very proper. You have your driver license with you at all time and you show it to him or her. One more problem which is happening with some students is that they get a learner's license and they may be caught driving with the learner's license with no driver on their passenger seat. So again, this is something which is required. Make it a point to have a driver on the passenger seat and never drive with an expired license. And also do not think that just because you have an international license, you can drive in any part of US, because make it a point to check with the local government, the local DMV and so on before you essentially go out and drive. Now remember that there are various rideshare companies out there which can help you in going from point A to point B. In some cities there are also these kind of companies such as Waymo which will drive you without any human being involved. So remember that. Do not get a speeding ticket. Now the number four point has to do with improper work. And remember that if you are on the F1 visa and even on H1 visa and so on, you are only supposed to work at certain places. So these are explicitly written out to you in the various documentation which go with the visa. And of course, you can find this out from any immigration lawyer out there. So make it a point to follow these guidelines very carefully. If you are in a university, you have to work for a certain time in the university. Best thing is to only study. But in case you are permitted to work, make it a point to check with the university people out there, the people responsible for international students, as to what is proper and what is improper. Do not go around working at gas stations, at restaurants, doing part in different activities such as daycare, such as cooking, or simply rendering your services around. All this may be not legal for you. Now the next point has to do with improper F1 practical training work. And of course, various students in the US, after they get their degree, they are allowed to do some practical training. But make it a point to ensure that whatever practical training you are doing is in line with your degree program. So this is generally mandated, and make sure that you do that. Again, consult with your university or the institute where you are working, the different people out there regarding the international affairs department as to what you need to do. Now, the point number 6 has to do with relationships gone bad, and this has been happening more and more. Is that students get into an altercation with maybe their roommate, maybe their girlfriend, maybe their boyfriend, and there is some problem out there. Maybe a punch is thrown by somebody and then a retaliatory punch is thrown by somebody. Remember that these are all classified as violent activities, and so you may be booked by the police here also for what is known as assault, and that can be very deleterious to your condition. So make it a point that you do not get into any of these situations. Now, do remember that sometime you may think that you have somebody who is a boyfriend or girlfriend, you are very close to them, but at a certain point, if certain boundaries are crossed, then these people can file a case against you. So make it a point to have very proper relationships, and of course, if you want to be very safe, do not have any relationship at all. Be like a monk when you are in the US. That is going to keep you very safe. So remember, drinking is a problem, driving is a problem, relationships are a problem, especially for young people, because what I have seen is that when people are young, they do not have a great deal of control on themselves. And whenever you mix any two of these things, for example, drinking or driving or relationships and drinking, then you can encounter problems out there. Now, the seventh point has to do with some cases which have come up of people indulging in things such as shoplifting, such as theft, and so on. And this also is very negative for you in case you do anything like that. Do remember that it's not just that you will be susceptible to various punishments out there in terms of your criminal activity, but again, your visa is going to be rescinded and you may be deported. So this video hopefully will help many students out there, more so their parents and relatives and professors, as to encouraging the international students to behave in a proper manner when they are in the United States. And of course, if you are somebody who is working on the H1 visa, on the J1 visa, on the L1 visa, or any such visa, make it a point that you do not get into any of these problems I have outlined here. So don't drink and drive carefully, and do not indulge in random and deleterious relationships.